myself Akshay Prakash Chandekar. So today we are going to see solid state. Generally before this we are familiar with the states of matter or how the matter is classified. When before this previously when we were asked what are the three states of matter, we easily answered that the three states of matter are solid, liquid and gaseous. Basically now we are evolved as we are studying in 12th standard or we are studying in the higher classes. The concepts are also evolved or the concepts are elaborated. So basically while studying this first unit from your syllabus or from the class 12 standard, or generally we can consider that we are studying a single state of matter in a evolved manner or in a elaborated way. So the single state, that is the solid state, out of three states of matter we are seeing or we are viewing or we are studying the solid state. Now when we consider the three states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gaseous, while considering this we can also imagine, or the concept between these three states is that the solid, liquid and gaseous, the three states of matter are interconvertible between each other by exchange of energy or by gaining the energy or by energy transformations. There is change in these three states of matter. That means the solid can be converted into liquid or the liquid is converted into gas, as well as reversibly the gas is converted into liquid and liquid is again converted into solid. Now what are the conditions or what is the basic concept that is involved in transformation of solid into liquid or liquid into gases? That is nothing but the transfer of energy or transfer of heat, or that is the gaining or losing of the heat. So we will see in introductory part physical states of matter that are solid, liquid and gaseous. After that, now the interconversion between these three states of matter, that is solid to liquid and liquid to gases. How the solids are converted into liquid? The basic concept that is involved in conversion of the solids to liquid is providing the heat to solid. At certain temperature, the solid melts and gets converted into the liquid state. Now the next, how the liquids are converted into gas. The liquid, when the liquid is given heat or a liquid is boiled up to its boiling point, it gets converted into vapors, and the vapors are nothing but the gaseous state of matter. Now reversibly also we can convert the gas into liquids when the gas, that is the vapors, are cooled at a certain temperature at high pressure. They get converted into liquid, as well as when the liquids are freezed or are cooled at a certain degree Celsius or at a certain temperature, they get freezed and there is a formation of a solid. The best example that which can provide us the well knowledge of the interconversion of these three states of matter is the ice or the water. The ice is the solid form of the water, or ice is the solid form, which is when provided with some amount of the heat, it gets converted into liquid, that is water, and when it is again heated up to its boiling point, it gets converted into water vapors, that is the gaseous form. Again when the gaseous vapor, that are the water vapors, are condensed, the liquid droplets are formed. The liquid droplets, when they are collected and together are freezed at a certain degree Celsius. Now we are familiar with the temperature or the freezing temperature of the water, so there is no any need to tell that up to or about 0 degree Celsius the water gets freezed and there is again formation of a solid, that is the ice. So now in this chapter we are going to see all the properties of the solids, or how the solids are classified into the different class, what are the types of solid, how they are classified, what are the properties that are related with the solids, etc., etc. So now we will start with our topic. The next point, the solids, or what are the properties of solids. So here we have mentioned solids are hard, rigid, incompressible, higher density compared to other states. Generally till now we have observed all the properties, because we have seen these all properties in the solid, that it is hard, it is rigid, it is incompressible, and we can practically observe these properties of the solid in our day-to-day life. The next, strong intermolecular forces of attraction. Pure solids have constant melting point. The next point is strong intermolecular forces of attraction. Strong intermolecular forces of attraction are nothing but the bonding between the atoms or the molecules or the ions which form a solid. The next, pure solids have constant melting points. Means the physical constants of solids or pure solids remains constant, or they have a certain melting points. The next, particles held tightly, hence cannot be poured like liquid. Unless the solid is liquefied or unless the solid is transformed into the other state of matter, that is liquid, it cannot be poured because the particles are rigidly held with each other. Next. This is the classification of solid. The flowcharts show how the solids are classified. Solids, then the main two types in which the solids are classified are crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Now further, crystalline solids are classified into molecular solids, that is molecular crystalline solids, ionic crystalline solids, metallic and covalent solids. Further, the molecular solids are classified into polar solids, non-polar and hydrogen bonded solids. These are the main classification of basic classification that is involved in case of the solids. Next. Now we will see the first part of our classified solid, that is crystalline solids. Now basically till now we have studied what is crystals or what is crystalline solids or what is crystalline nature. Generally when we answer the question what is crystalline or what are the crystalline solids which have the small granulous particles or which have fine particles in it is called as a crystalline solid. So basically the familiar definition which we answer immediately after asking such types of questions. So we will see what are the crystalline solids. Crystalline solids are homogeneous solids in which constituent particles, atoms, ions, molecules are arranged in a definite repeating pattern. So crystalline solids are nothing but the solids which have a specific arrangement, or the molecules, particles, atoms or ions are placed at a specific intervals or a specific points or specific edges, etc. So in crystalline solid, intermolecular forces of attraction are maximum and bonds may be ionic bonds, covalent bonds, hydrogen bonds or van der Waals forces. Before explaining this concept or before explaining this point, we are going to see the intermolecular forces of attraction. What is the intermolecular forces of attraction? Basically, the intermolecular forces of attraction when gets elaborated or when the term when gets elaborated, it constitutes of the forces of attraction or the bonds. Basically, we will see here or we will consider the bonds which we have seen in our previous years or in our previous classes or in our previous syllabus. That they are the ionic bonds, covalent bonds, then hydrogen bonding, van der Waals forces, etc., etc. This totally the intermolecular force of attraction constitute these all types of the bonds. In ionic bonds, there is attraction between two or the two oppositely charged ions are attracted to each other. Covalent bonds, the valency, the covalence concept is considered here. Then hydrogen bonding, where the hydrogen bonding is formed when, or instead of seeing it here, we will see by taking an example of the hydrogen bond, and van der Waals forces, which are also considered as a weak forces or London forces. So why from this point we get clarified why the solids or why the crystalline solids are rigid or they have a specific shape, or as we seen in the above or previous point, they have a definite arrangement. Why they have the definite arrangement? The reason is the presence of the strong intermolecular forces of attraction between the particles or atoms or ions that are present in there, which hold them tightly at their specific positions or at the same positions, due to which they acquire a specific shape. Now the next point, crystalline solids are aggregates of many small tiny crystals called unit cells. Now the particles or the atoms or the molecules which we considered in the above point, which are present or which togetherly form a crystalline solid, the single particle, the single ion or the single molecule from that solid is called as a unit cell. Unit cell means a small single tiny particle. Unit cell is basic repeating structural unit of crystalline solid. So it is the small and the tiny unit, and the crystalline solid is formed by gathering together or by forming a force of attraction between such tiny particles. It is the basic repeating unit, or it may be also called as a basic repeating unit of a crystalline solid, that is unit cell. So now after that, while considering the crystalline solid, we will see the three types that are also involved, or three states that are involved in the crystalline solid: isomorphous solid, then polymorphous solid, and the property that is anisotropic property. Now what are the isomorphous solids? In short, different compounds having same crystalline structure. Now we have considered the example of NaF, sodium fluoride, and next is magnesium oxide. Here when we consider the ratio of both the compounds, that is Na to fluorine is 1:1, and as well as in MgO it is 1:1. So such type of the solids are called as a isomorphous solids, which have the same crystal structure. So after that, the next property is of polymorphism or polymorphous solids. What are the polymorphous solids? Same compound have different structure, crystal structures. Example, graphite, diamond, and fullerene. So now graphite, diamond, and fullerene. These three are also called as allotropes of carbon. The basic unit is carbon, but these three compounds show different structural representations. Now, as graphite, diamond, and fullerene are called as allotropes of carbon, the polymorphous solids are also called as allotropes. Now next, anisotropic property. What is anisotropic property? When we consider a crystalline solid, exhibit change of physical property in different direction. Next, what is anisotropic property? Now we will consider, this is a structural representation of a crystalline solid, where there are two particles. They are represented by a red dot and a blue dot. As crystalline solids have the repeating units, they are placed as a specific positions. The crystalline solids have a specific shape and size because of this arrangement, because the crystals are placed at the specific positions rigidly due to intermolecular forces of attraction. Now while studying the anisotropy, what does anisotropy tell us? That the change in the physical properties when we change the direction. They have given here the figure of the structural representation, where they have shown the different arrows A to B, C to D, and E to F. Now what we have to consider, there are two types of the particles, the red one and the blue one. They are arranged in a specific direction. Now when we measure the temperature, or when we start measuring the physical properties, if we consider A to B, the temperature shown by A to B will be different than the temperature shown by C to D or E to F. Why so? When the crystalline solids are formed, the compounds of the crystalline solids are formed, they are formed from two molecules or two different atoms or two different particles, such as if we consider the basic, we will consider the basic, that is the NaCl crystal, which is cuboidal in structure. So for a meanwhile purpose, we will consider NaCl, where the Na and Cl are the basic units or the repeating units or unit cells in case of the NaCl crystal. In similar way, here are the two types of the different crystals, that are blue and red. When we start measuring the temperature in case of the A to B, the single blue crystals are appeared here. So the temperature of the blue crystals will be considered. When we see here C to D, only the red crystals are considered here. But in case when we consider the E to F, there is the alternate arrangement of blue, red. So because of such arrangement of the unit cells or the particles, there is change in the physical properties. Next. And such property is called as anisotropy. Now the next is amorphous solids. Now we have seen the crystalline solids, we will see the amorphous solids. The basic differentiation at our level, how we do the basic differentiation between the amorphous and crystalline solids. When you are provided with the samples, or if we consider we are examining the two samples, one is crystalline and one is amorphous, when we are questioned how we can differentiate, what we tell that there are small particles or small granules, or there is small crystals that appear on our hand, or we can sense that small crystals, and in other that is the crystalline, and when we consider other, that is powder form, which we say it is as an amorphous solid. These are the basic, or these are the definitions which we have made for ourselves to make it easier. Now we have seen the crystalline solids. What is the specific definition? Which has the specific crystalline structure or specific structure where the particles, atoms or ions are rigidly held with each other in a specific manner or shape. Now what is the amorphous solids? Substances appears like solid but do not have well developed a perfectly ordered crystalline structure are called amorphous solids. We can differentiate easily between the crystalline. They have the perfect shape, the crystals are arranged in a specific manner, or the ions, molecules or atoms are held tightly together by a force of intermolecular force of attraction. Similarly here, when we compare the amorphous solid, they appear like a solid. They are solid. But what is the condition here? They don't have well developed structure. They don't have a specific crystalline, or instead of crystalline, that is the concept. Apart from this, we can say that they don't have a specific structure, or they don't have a specific arrangement. Examples are given here, that are tar, glass, rubber, plastic, etc. The next, amorphous solids do not have ordered internal structure and do not have sharp melting point. As there is no any order structure, as the crystals are not specifically spaced, or there is no any specific arrangement in the solids as per here, they don't have sharp melting points. That means we cannot examine the physical properties accurately in case of amorphous solids. The next, they are not real solids but truly supercooled liquids. They are, now before this I said that they are solids, now I am saying that they are not real solids. The question arises, what is true solid and what is false solid, or what is real solid and what is fake solid? So it is for our explanation or for our understanding that they are not real solids, means crystalline solids are real solids. The sentence depicts the same, that crystalline solids are true solids while the amorphous solids are false solids, or they are fake solids. The next, but truly supercooled liquid. Truly supercooled liquids. What are supercooled liquids? When we freeze the liquids below their freezing point without formation of the crystals, such types of or without formation of the solid state, such type of the liquids are called as a supercooled liquids. Now next, structure of the amorphous solid is similar to structure of liquid and behave like fluids and very slowly float under gravity. Next, they have shown two types of the structures in case of amorphous solids, that is the quartz and quartz glass, where we can see the particles are held by the bonding, but there is somewhat strengthening of this bonding, or there is a disturbance in the shape of such type of the solids. These are called amorphous solids. Due to the property of fluidity, lower sides of glass pans become slightly thicker and upper ends thinner. They are also called pseudo-solids. The physical properties do not change with change in direction. That is, they don't show the anisotropy. Next, the example is glass. How the glass is formed, what is the basic material that is used in manufacture of the glass, that is SiO2. And with that, the basic material that is needed, that is SiO2. Then the next is, with that we use Na2O, B2O3 and traces of transition elements. Transition elements are used to impart the color in case of the glasses. Two examples are provided here. The first one is Pyrex glass and the other is soda lime. In Pyrex glass, 60 to 80% of SiO2, 10 to 25% B2O3 plus Al2O3. And in soda lime glass, 75% SiO2, 15% Na2O plus 10% CO. Next. Now the classification of crystalline solids. The main point or the point of our interest is classification of crystalline solids. That is crystalline, what are the crystalline solids and now how they are classified. Some of the examples are provided such as the metallic solids, then inorganic solids, then non-metals and some of the organic substances which are considered as the crystalline solids, and as they are considered as a crystalline solid, how they can be or how they are classified into the different types of the crystalline solid. So in case of the metallic solids, gold, platinum, silver, copper, zinc, etc. Inorganic solids like NaCl, MgSO4, KBr, CuSO4, that are the salts, inorganic salts. Then there's non-metallic solids like sulfur, phosphorus, iodine are crystalline solids, etc. So next, then organic substances like benzoic acid, oxalic acid, camphor, naphthalene are also crystalline solids. Now, depending on this, how they can be or how they are classified into the subtypes of crystalline solids. So we will see how they are classified. They are mainly classified into four main types. The first one is the molecular solids. What are molecular solids, or which type of the crystalline solids are classified in this class or they are present in this class? Constituent particles of molecular solids are molecules of same compound. They are formed from the molecules and the molecules are of the same compound. These are classified in three types depending upon type of molecules involved in crystal formation and nature of the intermolecular forces for attraction between neighboring molecules. So, they are classified into three types depending on the molecules or the crystals involved in the formation of the such type of the molecule crystalline solids and the intermolecular forces of attraction or the bonding. What type of the bond that is present in the molecular solid, they are classified into the following three types. We will see in the next type. So the first classification of the crystalline, that is classification of the molecular crystalline solid. The first is a polar molecular solid. What is the pole or what are the poles? We know the question is asked, the concept pole sometimes changes in physics, sometimes shows different meaning in chemistry. Generally when we consider the poles, that are the south pole and north pole. These are the two poles we are familiar with. But in case of polar molecular solid, depending upon the same concept, that is the south pole and north pole, here we are considering the two opposite charges, that is positive charge and negative charge. These are two poles which are we considering here. Covalently bonded molecules like HCl, SO2, etc. exist in gaseous state as discrete molecules under normal conditions and normal conditions of temperature and pressures. On cooling under high pressure, gases first liquefy and then solidify to a polar molecular solids and possesses permanent dipole moment. HCl, H plus, HCl, H plus, Cl minus. Two charges are formed, one is positive and second is negative, that is two poles are formed. Hence, there is induced the dipole moment or there is a permanent dipole moment. Then next, in solid state, molecules are held together by strong dipole-dipole interaction. Now, what is the dipole-dipole interaction? Simply for our information, dipole-dipole interaction, instead of dipole-dipole interaction, apart from this, we will consider as the HCl is formed from H plus and Cl minus, there is a bond between them due to the force of attraction between the two opposite charges, which creates a poles. Now, how it is made or how such type of the compounds are formed? This is due to the electronegativity of the elements. And the electronegativity, when the electronegativity is considered in case of the HCl, the Cl minus is more electronegative, which keeps the electron cloud towards it, which creates a dipole or which creates a poling between the two ions or two atoms that are present in the crystal. The next, molecules being polar, there is separation of positive and negative charges and arrange themselves such as that opposite charges of neighboring molecules are brought closer. Now, in HCl, this is a single molecule. We consider HCl here positive, it is negative. So when there is a formation of the crystal, the opposite charges must come together, because if there is a neighboring charge is positive, there is no any formation of bond, or there is no any dipole created, or there is no any bond formation, as the like charges repel with each other. Hence, when there is a formation of the crystal, the arrangement must be that the neighboring ions must contain opposite charges. Next, molecules, so that we have concluded. Such solids are soft, do not conduct electricity. Then, since bonding is relatively weak, their melting points are relatively low. The bonding is weak, hence their melting points are relatively low. Next. Then next, non-polar solids. They are polar, where we are considering the non-polar solids like CO2, H2, Cl2, CH4, and weakly polar molecules like CO and other hydrocarbons. So solids are soft, they do not conduct electricity as per the polar solids. The melting point is low. Solids are formed by interplay of weak dispersion forces of London forces. The intermolecular forces of attraction are weak. The next, hydrogen bonded molecular solid. What is hydrogen bonding, or in case hydrogen bonded molecular solids? If hydrogen atom in a molecule is covalently bonded with an extra electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen or fluorine, etc., the hydrogen atom develops a slightly positive charge on it due to the pulling of the electron cloud towards the more electronegative atom. As the hydrogen develops a slightly positive charge, again the nearby electronegative atom creates a bonding with hydrogen. Such type of the hydrogen bonds formed are called as the hydrogen bonding. They are created due to the electronegative elements which create an excess of the positive charge on hydrogen by pulling the electron cloud or electrons. Example, solid ice is the example of hydrogen bonding. Next, hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Same example, that is the example of the ice. When the crystal X-ray crystallography or the hexagonal or 3D crystal structure of ice is studied, it is seen that the hydrogen bondings are formed. X-ray studies of liquid water show the structure of liquid water and solid ice are almost identical. However, on melting of ice, some hydrogen bonds are break, due to which they acquire the empty space, which makes the liquid water more dense. Astonishingly, density of liquid water becomes more, that is, liquid water density is increased, due to which the ice floats on liquid water or liquid. Here it is the exceptional case where the solid has lower density than the liquid, but in we are familiar that the solids are denser than the liquids. The solid don't float. When we put any solid in the liquid, they sink down at the bottom of the solid. But due to the presence of the hydrogen bonding, that is the formation of the hydrogen bonding and the breaking of the hydrogen bonding, the ice has a lower density than that of the liquid and it floats on a liquid, that is water. Next, ionic solids. We are familiar with the ionic solids, or its name ionic solid itself concludes what concept is it. That is, there must be the loss of electrons, so the cation is formed. The next is the Cl, that is, there must be the gain of electron, so there is formation of Cl minus. And finally, when the ions are formed, Na plus and Cl minus, there is form of the ionic salt, that is NaCl. It is called as ionic salt. So such type of the compounds are considered in the ionic solids. Now, how the crystals are formed? In case we have considered the ions Na plus and Cl minus, but while seeing this concept, we consider that there is the neighboring of only two charges, that is oppositely charges, that is positive, negative, positive, negative. In such a manner, the crystals are placed. We can typically draw, or we can suppose that NaCl minus, NaCl minus. For our understanding purpose, we are drawing it Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus. Similarly, it goes on repeating. So in such manner, the ionic crystalline solid may be formed. Now here, this is the diagram where the opposite charges are in contact with each other, so there is a force of attraction between this. And as these charges are bound with each other, the force here is neutral, or there is complete bonding between the opposite charges. Hence, we have seen here that this type of the molecule are electrically neutral because all the charges are engaged in their bonding. Next. So, if energy is supplied, valence electron moves from one place to another. This mobile electron makes all metallic, back there. I'm sorry. Electrostatic force of attraction between nearest neighboring ions are very strong because the oppositely charged ions are present, and we are familiar with it that the oppositely charged ions or opposite charges strongly attract with each other. 3D arrangement of cations and anions in crystalline solids such that opposite forces are completely compensated. Similarly, positive, negative, positive, negative. So there is no any excuse here, or there is no any combination that can be altered here or that can be made here. The opposite charges are combined with each other. Now, so crystalline solids are hard and brittle, possess higher melting points, non-conductors of electricity as free electrons are not available. Now how? So they are hard. Why they are hard? Because of the interconnecting, or there is the specific strong arrangement between oppositely charged ions. They are brittle, we will see how they are brittle, or possesses high melting point because the ions are strongly held with each other. The high amount of the energy is required to break such type of the ionic bonds to get them separated, hence, or to liquefy, hence they have high melting points. And as there is no any charge free, or as there are no electrons, there is no any conduction of electricity. In fused state or in aqueous solution, ions are available for conduction of electricity. But when they are liquefied, there is the separation of the ions. That is, there is a breakage between when they are liquefied or when the heat is provided, they get separated into Na plus and Cl minus, and the ions are capable of carrying the electricity, or they are the good conductors of electricity. On application of shearing force, ionic crystal undergo distortion and fracture in crystal structure. Now this is the concept why they are brittle or why they break easily, and when they break, the crystalline structure is destroyed completely, or there is a disturbance in the crystalline structure. How? When we consider two layers, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, minus plus minus plus plus plus. The next, this is the one layer I have considered here. The next, we consider it here. Plus minus plus minus plus minus plus minus. So now these are the two layers. When any mechanical force is applied on the layer number 2, the layer number 2 slides slightly, which creates the phenomena which is not in favor with ionic solids. When the mechanical force is applied, it becomes in such. If you consider these two are the crystals in ionic solids, these two are the crystals that we have considering the two ionic solids. They are placed with each other, or they are connected by the opposite charges with each other. When I apply mechanical shear or mechanical force, the layer gets slided, and here the two like charges come together. And as we know that when the two like charges come together, there is a force of the repulsion created, due to which the crystal structure breaks and the crystals get separated. Hence they are brittle, or they get easily break.